Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Interracial Perspective Maturity Not Included podcast, where we discuss a wide range of topics, but most importantly, a place to be yourself. Be sure to subscribe to both the Interracial Perspective Maturity Not Included podcast and YouTube channel. That way, you know when a new episode drops. I'm Ellceey, and joining me, as always, is my lovely co-host, Erron. Hey, Erron.
Thank you, Ellceey. Welcome, everybody. This week, we're going to start diving into a little bit more lighthearted conversations. We're going to lead this one off with embarrassing moments we've been through so that you get kind of a little humor into who Ellceey and Erron are. I think this was brought up based on flashback in some TV that we watched a few days ago,
Yes.
which highlighted a wall of shame that Wendy Williams had on her talk show. And a lot of it was
Fall of shame. Correction.
which is somebody falling in public spots that are captured on somebody's video or makes them mainstream social blogs. And this just made us think about, what is something happened to us that was embarrassing or might have been perceived as embarrassing?
For me, I can think of two things that I found very embarrassing. The first would be probably when I think I was either 19 or 20 years old, and I was in undergraduate school, and I had to take the city bus to go to the university. And I was running for the bus, and sometimes the bus would stop if you're running, or sometimes they won't. They'll just drive right on by. But for this particular day, I was running for the bus, and I ended up falling into a hole that was in the sidewalk.
Right by the bus as it stopped.
Yeah,
correct?
as it stopped. I was so embarrassed because I had my glasses. They flew off my face. They were scratched up. My palms were scratched up. My knees felt like they were scraped up through my jeans. And the bus driver, but the funny thing about it is that no one looked like they were laughing. So I just kind of waved the bus driver to go past, because there's no way I was getting on that bus after everyone just saw me fall into this hole. All my stuff go scattering, my glasses, and when you think about it now, it's funny. But I remember this so clear as day, because my embarrassment immediately turned to being pissed off, because I felt I shouldn't have to be running for the bus. I think if that was any other moment, they would have kept going if I hadn't have fallen into the hole. But I think by me falling into the hole, they stopped.
Just to let you get on.
Just to let me get on.
But I feel like anybody that would have been in your situation, like the bus driver, probably should have been like, ain't no way he's going to walk by everybody that just watched that.
No, and I wasn't. I collected my things, and I took what little pride I had, walked back home, and didn't go to class that day. I actually broke my glass. Well, I had to get new glasses because my lens was so scraped up from it. I fell pretty hard.
Well, it was a big hole, wasn't it?
It was a hole. And I wonder if I would have been able to sue the city.
That would be interesting.
I don't know.
I don't know. That would just be embarrassing. To do it in front of some things, I could see how what would be perceived as embarrassing might not be, because mine would have been like, we went out of country with a couple friends, and we were walking around enjoying things, and I swear to this day it was a bug on my shoe, and I wanted to step on it. So I was that fool on the side of the street just stepping on his own foot with three friends laughing at me going, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I realized it was a buckle, and all I did was laugh, because okay, now let that be in front of a bunch of strangers. That would be like a completely different
people would
moment.
Probably think that you're not right, or you're missing a couple of screws.
And then I would be truly embarrassed. I'd be like, okay. And then how would you even react in a moment where you're truly embarrassed? Because, I mean, at least with yours, you would just, okay, shoot the bus off. They'll go away in a minute. And you can walk home and ain't nobody know. But if you're around,
I think it's easier to handle embarrassment when you're around a group of people. For instance, my case, if I had ran and tripped into this hole, if I'm with you or other friends, I don't think it would have been that embarrassing for me. We would have all laughed about it and just laughed about it. But
Yeah,
I
it'd be
think when you're
easier
by
to,
yourself, it's more, oh my God. No, these people that don't know me just saw me fall smack dead on my face.
which and everybody can say. I mean, I'm guessing there's some people out there that don't laugh, but
Oh,
the
I'm guilty of
minute
laughing.
the minute you see somebody
That's
trip,
right.
do something, you instantly laugh. Even if it looks like it's gonna be bad, like a bad fall, you still laugh. Look, we were out, were we headed to the restaurant? And you fell, and nobody saw you except
Oh
for
my
one friend
goodness.
that turned around and blasted it to the neighborhood.
Yes. We're not saying names on this show, respecting everyone's privacy. But yeah, that's another embarrassing moment. I actually wasn't embarrassed because I tripped. I fell pretty hard. And I got up, collected myself, thought I was all cute, getting up. Then a friend turned around, caught me getting up, gathering myself, and was like, "Oh my God, Ellceey, are you okay?" And I just said, "Look, like I was." Now everyone looked and everyone turned around and saw that I had fell, and even the car had stopped and looked. And I was just thinking, I was fine. You could have kept walking. You could have came to me and be like, "Hey, buddy, are you okay? I saw you tumble really hard." But no, she was pretty loud.
But it still makes for a funny story overall as a group going out.
I think so, and and again, I think that's why it's more easier to laugh at yourself when you have an embarrassing moment when you're with a group of people instead of just being by yourself. Because I have to say, I am guilty of laughing when people take a tumble. I think it's pretty funny. I if it depends on how hard you fall, I will make sure that you're okay. But if you're okay, I'm
I'm
gonna
still
laugh.
gonna laugh. I'm gonna pick it back up. Like I get it. Like if you fall and then you go, oh my, they're not getting up right away. You go check them out. But once they get up, it's fair game. And I think if you're really friends, you should be able to do that. Because who doesn't laugh? I
You
mean,
had I there was one moment I didn't laugh when you fell. You took a tumble trying to get across the train tracks.
that's right.
You did like a karate
Like a roll.
it was more like a martial arts roll where you you kind of tripped and you did like a nosedive but did a tumble and jumped back up like a gymnastic or a gymnast.
Which is embarrassing about certain things like that because it's like, okay, there was nothing there that I should have tripped on. That was just I couldn't walk.
Well, no, I think the curb or what do you call that?
Oh, the rail from the actual
no,
train.
the asphalt. Remember that was kind of like above.
Uneven. That's what they just fixed over there too, isn't
Yeah,
it?
they evened it
Now,
all out.
at
But
least, I'm probably not the only one that tripped in that spot.
could you sue cities over stuff like that?
I'm sure. Look, the what was it? McDonald's got sued because somebody dropped hot coffee in their lap. Well, no shit, it's hot water or hot coffee.
I mean,
I
that's.
don't. That's stuff that I feel like people would do the same thing with. Oh, I tripped over a curb. It's a curb. It's
But
you
no,
have
I
to
don't
look
think that
down.
would be. I think that's different because you are suing a company instead of a government. I, I don't know. I feel like the city wouldn't be classified the same as a restaurant because they have an obligation. The city has an obligation or state has an obligation as well. But I think you will encounter barriers and obstacles if you try to sue the city because you fell into a hole. I'm
Well,
not saying
that
it's
yeah, I can see it depending on
impossible.
how
I
big
just
the.
think that it will be different because the restaurants more so they will want to settle to avoid the negative publicity, whereas the city they just don't care.
That's true.
Look at how many people damage their cars on potholes.
That pothole that took out the axle on
And I fought the city for a
three.
year. No, 3 years. I fought them for a year to get reimbursed for the repairs, and then they rejected it multiple times, and I kept fighting it, and I appealed it, and finally they accepted it, and they accepted the claim, and they reimbursed me. I believe it was almost 2 years later.
But I don't even think it was for the full amount either, was it? Because I think, didn't we have to go back down and negotiate how much of the actual bill they were going to reimburse us for?
Yes, they were not going to reimburse for the full amount, and they decided that pretty much my fault that I hit a pothole. And even though I gave them all the evidence showing that this pothole was a new pothole, they were like, nope, we're not having it. You're going to cover half of the expense. I didn't even think it was half of the expense. It probably was only like 25% what they paid or reimbursed. But that's kind of getting off topic. But I think that wraps up our most embarrassing moments. How about you, Aaron? Do you have any last comments?
No, other than to make sure you check out our podcast and YouTube channel and make sure you let us know your embarrassing moment. We know you all have one.
Yes, we know everyone has them. And with that said, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Interracial Perspective Maturity Not Included podcast, where we discuss a wide range of topics from any to everything, but most importantly, a place to be yourself. Echoing the words of Aaron, be sure to check us out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all those other great channels. Give us your comments, like our videos, and share your thoughts.